Good afternoon, my beautiful bookish loves. I haven't been here for a couple weeks. I was hoping to post regularly, but then life happens and I suffer from many things. Like a lot of things. But one of them is chronic migraines, and so making content was a no-go. But I am here today. If I can't tell if this thing is censored. I can't tell if I'm in the middle. I can't tell if I'm to the left or to the right of it too much because of the things on the side. I don't have good eyesight. Like when I post it, it may bother someone. I'm like, she's too to the left, she's too to the right. I can't tell. I can't tell. Like I have crappy eyesight, so apologies in advance. Anyways, also making content for YouTube is hard. This is not something that I'm well versed in. I talk shit on Book Talk and Bookstagram all the time. Easy peasy. Mostly Book Talk. I just upload it to Bookstagram. But when I wanted to venture into BookTube, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. So I had previously posted about book covers I don't like, book covers I do like. Only a couple of books, not a bunch. So I figured I would talk about books that I loved, and over time, just random books on my shelves that I absolutely love. These books I'll never give up. So with that being said, let's get started. I have a stack here. That's not something's gonna fall. You know what? Before something does fall. All right. All right, the first one I'm going to go with is The Hollow Gods by A.J. Verna. Okay? It's called The Chaos Duology. The Chaos Cycle Duology. Oopsie fucking doodle. It's a dark fantasy. One of my absolute favorite series of all time. The only book series that I have multiple editions of right here. This whole shelf right here is basically just this. This is a redone cover. I have the old covers. There's two books. It's The Hollow Gods and The Echo Realm. Come on guys, look how beautiful this is. I have the old editions, the old paperback editions, which are no longer for sale. And I have these, and then these were redone again. The same front cover, but this looks even nicer. I open it to show you guys. Now I gotta do all this. Like I said, it's dark fantasy, magic realism. There is a romance. It is secondary, like that's a subplot. She has not rewritten the books, but she has. You know what? We'll just take it out. There are editions you can buy that have this in it, straight feathers, and it's more like this is more like the relationship part, like slice of lifey little like vignettes. I may be wrong, but she may have redone them where some of the editions of the book have this in there, or you can buy inserts. I'm not sure. I have this, so she signed it. God fucking damn it, Debbie. I know why she put that. So, let me just put it here. The writing is fantastic. For book one, it's slower paced, very melodic. The second one is a little faster paced. Yeah, that's all I have for Again, if you're looking for romance, that's a subplot. She's, a lot of authors these days are, I guess, adding more spice to their books. And she decided to venture into that. And it's great. She even has a Patreon. I already read these because I subscribed to her Patreon, so I got to read them ahead of time. So those are all 5 stars. The next series, I've showed this cover before because I love it, but it's the Immortal Empire series, God Save the Queen by Kate Locke. There's vampires, there's werewolves, and there's goblins. This series, I never hear anyone talk about it, and I love it so fucking much. And it's just like, I'm not the only one that has read this. Now, this author I know has a bunch of different pseudonyms, but from all the stuff she's written, this is my favorite. In this one, Queen Victoria never died. So she's been alive for quite some time. She's a vampire. And we have the McLaughlin. He's a werewolf. I love him. And then you have Sandra Vardan. Or Varden? I'm not sure. And it's steampunky. Like, I'm going to say steampunk light. I gotta stop saying and it's a fantastic fantasy series. I do love it. It's a trilogy. And if you didn't see my other video, the covers, these redone covers look like this. Like, it's the other one is pink and yellow. Like one is pink, one is yellow. One is blue, one is yellow. Next up, Frankenstein. You're like, bitch, we all know about Frankenstein. He's not new. I want to talk about Frankenstein because I feel like growing up, every time they show any type of version of Frankenstein, they show him as this big lumbering doof. Lovable doof, but a doof. And it's doing the monster such a disservice. So like if you've never read it and the only versions you have of Frankenstein are characters like Lurch or like from the Monsters, Joseph Vieja, so the Monsters, and stuff like that, you're like, he's just a big lovable oaf. He's not. And I think that if you haven't, it's not even a big book, babies. I think that you should give this a shot. Also, it's Mary Shelley, and I'm gonna die on the hill that she's the reason we have the genre sci-fi, the science fiction genre, is because of her. Argue with your mom about it. Another author I love, not necessarily this book, just her in general, is Lisa Gardner. She writes a lot of like police procedurals, and I love those. And I'll see people talk a lot about like say Karen Slaughter, but never about her. I have a shit ton of her books. Love them. Absolutely love her. Here's another. Let me move this shit out of the way. I have another author here. Now we all know him, of course. He's not famous, but Stephen King. I've read a lot of his works, not everything. A lot of it. But my two favorite will always be Misery. Even the movie's great. Come on. And Needful Things. I feel like Needful Things is one of those, like, people are like, it's whack or whatever, but I loved it. And I've seen like TV versions of it, and I love those as well. Delilah S. Dawson, Wicked as They Come. This is the Blood series. This is a like a romantic fantasy. This dude right here. Oh, I gotta sit up, Debbie. Sit up, Debbie. I'm like lounging. Criminy Stain. It involves vampires, and it involves like time travel or like interdimensional travel. There's several books in the series. I want to say 5. I read these a very long time ago. When I bought this book, it was when Borders was open, so it's been a minute. And this is the only one I have. I don't have the rest in the series. There's 4 books. Don't quote me on that. There could be 3, and there's a couple of like novellas in between that. And each one is of a different couple within this world. And then when she ended the series, it ended back with Criminy and Tish. Is it Tish? It is. I always say Tish or Tess. And I loved it. I loved the world that she built here. And Blood is spelled B-L-U-D. And it's not talked about. I love it. It's actually a comfort read for me. And no one ever talks about it. And I'd be like, lonely as shit. Like, read the shit I love, please. Carrie Lake, Master of Salt and Bones. Gothic, dark fantasy romance. 100% check your trigger warnings for this. But the master, it's Lucian Blackthorn. You after you read it, you love them. Yes, but like my brain is now like there's a bunch of like characters that running through my head. Lucian Blackthorn, I love him. Very much check trigger warnings. I don't remember them now, but it's just like, it's not good stuff. Like, it's a lot of like essay type of things and PTSD. All those, always check those. I want to say most of her stuff is dark. You should check trigger warning. Most of her stuff is dark. I've not read everything, but the 4 books of hers I've read, absolutely love. But this one being my absolute favorite, and I want to reread it, but I'm just trying to get through the books that I have, because I will fall in like a reread like spiral, and I can't do that. I can't do that because I won't read anything new, and I'm trying to get through some of these books, babies. I think this book is slept on. I have not read the second part, but House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. It's a I don't know if you know the fairy tale, Sit Up, Cabrona, 12 Dancing Princesses. It's like a reimagining of that, or it's based on that. Gothic-y, or gothic, not gothic-y, gothic. I tend to like those things. I tend to like things on the darker side. I do like fluffy reads, I will gravitate to them. I love cozy mysteries. I should have grabbed the cozy mystery. I didn't. Um, but in terms of me like running towards things, I always tend to run to the darker stuff. Another slept on author. I showed her book and book covers I don't like because one of them had a spider, and your girl is arachnophobic. So we have here a Victoria and Pat in the Box, a Derek Reed thriller. This one is a paranormal thriller. It's like a slow burny type of paranormal thriller. Because the main character in this doesn't accept what he can see. And I love her writing. She has another series, Damien Kane series. That's police procedural. He shows up in that series, but it's not based, that's not a paranormal. Again, that series, top notch, this top notch. Again, one of my favorite things about her is character growth. I love that. Absolutely love that. When the character is not the same from book 1 to book 5 because shit has happening. And these are not, I mean, I guess this won't be more fantasy as it is paranormal based, but books are based in the real world, and things are happening to you. Your character should grow and change with what's going on. For the better or for worse, it doesn't really matter, but something should happen to your character. They shouldn't stay the same all the time. For me, that'll become boring, and, unless you're a comfort read for me, then it'll just become boring. Another series I think is very much slept on. Susan Dennard, of the Witchland series. Here's book 1, Truth Witch. I have the whole series. Truth Witch, Win Witch. Nice. I can't remember the rest. Blood Witch, Sight Witch, and there's one more. And it's, I can't remember it. I can't remember the last one. And Izzy's on that cover, and it's disgusting that I can't remember. She's one of my favorite characters. This is labeled as like YA epic fantasy. It doesn't read like YA to me. It really doesn't. It reads more like no adult. And I know that's a genre that people don't know what the fuck to do with, but it doesn't read like YA to me. It is fantasy. There is a romance subplot, but that is very much a subplot. And when I tell you that it is slow burn, babies, it's the last book is coming out next year, and it's still not even fucking resolved. But again, that's not the point of this book. The sisterhood in this book, the badass women in this book, top fucking notch. My favorite thing, this is Safi, and then her other half is Izzy. I share this series with my sister, so we love it. Like I have like the pre-order cards, the artwork. Oh, it's amazing. We have matching pillows. It's how much we love this book. It's the writing from book 1 to the last book so far, which is Blood Witch. The writing has gotten better and better. Like if you read this one and you're like, I don't know, Debbie. I get it. Even though I loved it, I understand why you would be like, I'm on the fence about it. 3-star for me instead of the 5-star you gave it. The writing got better. The world building is great. The magic, the powers, the people, the camaraderie. Again, the sisterhood. I love it. I love a story with badass women. And that's what this is. What else? I have two more, and now I'll shut up, I swear. This is a well-known series, but I have a story behind it. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I started reading this series when I was in junior high school, and I'm going to be 41 this week. So junior high school for me was a bit like a long time ago. And when I read it, I had only read the second book, which was Dragonfly and Amber. Someone had given me a bunch of books that was in it, and I loved it. And you're like, bitch, junior high, this book is an adult book. Yes, my mom let me read whatever the fuck I wanted. She didn't clock my books. I read whatever I wanted, and I loved to read then. I love to read now. And as long as I wasn't nagging her that I wanted something to read, she didn't really give a shit. She just didn't. It wasn't until I was an adult that I realized that was a whole fucking series. Because I read Dragonfly and Amber over and over and over and over again. I grew up and then I realized, holy shit. I don't know, maybe like my early 20s. When I realized it's a whole series. And I now have the whole series. I did watch the show up to the second season. And the show was well done. I just stopped watching it. I just didn't feel like continuing. All the show made me want to do was read the books. But again, the show really is well done. And if it's like, it's one of those, like, if you never read the books and had no intention, this is a great show. Last but not least, another oldie for me, Sherlock Holmes. I love this. I had another old copy, like a double volume 1, volume 2 set that cost me not cheap. But we had some water damage and those books are damaged. And I think I only have volume 1 or volume 2 left. I can't remember. So that made me very sad. So for a very long time, shockingly enough, I didn't have any Sherlock books. So when I found this at last year's book sale, which was, they have it every year for my birthday, around my birthday, then we'll be having it this weekend again. I found this for $6. I was so happy because of the edition that it is. I absolutely love Sherlock Holmes. He was introduced to me by my junior high librarian. I went to a hood school, but shockingly enough, we had a little library in there. The school had a librarian, and she noticed that I was constantly in there. Borrowing books, taking them out. I would read them, and I would be back within a day or two. And she's like, "You're done." Miss Weiss was her name. For the life of me, if I could ever find her again and thank her, I would. Because she realized that I was doing that, and she introduced me to Sherlock. She goes, "I think you'll like these." She goes, "I think that you'll really, really be into it." And I'll never forget that day. And that started my love of everything Sherlock. So being able to have this like older edition and not a new one is fantastic to me. I love the stories. I love the shows. I love the movies. Not all the versions. Some versions to me I like more than others. But in general, anything Sherlock based is top notch for me. That's it. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. Do you want something else? I don't know what else to give you. If you have any ideas of something you want, I don't know why I looked that way. I'm sorry, I thought I saw something. If you have any ideas, something else you want from me, please let me know. And, maybe I should start at the beginning, but hit like and subscribe. I really want to be here more often. Again, it's just trying to think up content for YouTube that isn't shit that I've already done on Book Talk. And I'm trying. Or I'll just upload that shit. I don't know. But I hope you guys all have a good day. And I hope you guys made it through the end of this nonsense. And okay, bye.